The 30 most beautiful beaches in the world. The planet Earth has almost 600,000 kilometers of coastline, an amazing figure that denotes another reality. The world is full of fascinating cliffs and, yes, beaches that are a scenic delight. Many of them are natural sanctuary, others a geological oddity, and others simply meet all the requirements for a perfect day of sun and beach. But to choose the best, there is nothing like enjoying this video with the most beautiful beaches in the world. A selection with 30 sandy areas that are worth taking a plane for or simply escaping from the madding crowd. These are the most beautiful beaches in the world. Number 1. Mtane Beach, Zanzibar, Tanzania. A long line of palm trees shading the white sand is the characteristic image of Mtane Beach, in the northeast of Zanzibar. The proximity of the African coast has made the island, and this beach in particular, the destination for those looking to relax after a safari through the parks of Tanzania or after climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, the roof of the continent. Mtane is an excellent place to dive among corals and sail aboard a dhow, the typical sailing boat of the Swahili coast. Number 2. Sardinia, Milo Island, Greece. This beach on the north coast of the island of Milo, in the Cyclades archipelago, owes its world fame to the shapes that the wind and water have carved out of the volcanic rock and that have given rise to its famous nickname of Beach Mall. Milo is just one of more than 200 Cyclades islands in the middle of the Aegean Sea, which also include Naxos, Paros, Mykonos, and the imposing Santorini. All of them are home to unforgettable beaches, some protected by cliffs, others smelling of thyme and watched over by blue-domed churches. Number 3. Macarella, Minorca. The southern coast of the Balearic Island brings together some of the best beaches in Spain. White sand coves embraced by pine trees that look out over the water from the rocks. Macarella and her little sister, Macarella, are an excellent example of this Mediterranean landscape. They are located 14 kilometers from Ciutadella, following a road flanked by dry stone walls that, after winding through uncultivated fields, descends by a torrent until almost reaching the sand. To thoroughly enjoy a day on these beaches, it is essential to wear goggles and a snorkel. Number 4. Palumbuga, India. The warm Arabian Sea bathes this beach in the Indian state of Goa, on the west coast. Its 1.6 kilometers and tongue is delimited at both ends by 2 large rocks. Until recently, shacks and fishing boats were the only human evidence in Palumbuga, but recently a fledgling tourist infrastructure has sprung up, thanks in part to its appearance in the film The Bourne Legend, 2004. Just 12 kilometers away, the forests of the Kotiga Wildlife Sanctuary are the habitat of monkeys and Bengal tigers. Number 5. Bora, Tahiti and her islands. Anchored in the middle of the ocean, Tahiti and its islands, French territory, keep paradises that have seduced sailors, explorers, and artists of different times. Bora et al. Is one of them. Its turquoise water lagoon reflects the silhouette of Mount Otemanu, an extinct volcano that rises above a coastline of white sand and coconut palms. This idyllic image is repeated a few miles to the east on the Cook Islands Aitutaki Atoll, where the men of the Bounty nearly touched their dream in 1789. Number 6. Playa Bonita, Dominican Republic. The main quality for which this beach gets its name is its simplicity. Playa Bonita brings together the main elements of an idyllic Caribbean retreat: palm trees, fine sand, and crystal clear waters away from cars and vendors. A little frequented beach, ideal to immerse yourself in the greens and blues of the Caribbean, and forget about the rest of the world for a few days. Number 7. Benajal, Portugal. The Algarve region, in Portugal, is famous for hosting some of the most beautiful beaches on the Atlantic coast of the Iberian Peninsula. And precisely, there is Benajal Beach, an enclave where the Mediterranean forest meets the waters of the Atlantic Ocean. a small site of brown sands and open to the sea, between whose surrounding cliffs the visitor can venture into the exploration of the many caves formed by the erosion of the sea. Number 8. Palumbuga, Corsica, France. The southern end of the long island of Corsica brings together beaches that, like Palumbuga, exemplify the purest Mediterranean. Under the shade of the pine trees you can discover the play of light that the sun creates on the rocks and the foam of the waves. The cove is within the term of Porto Vecchio, an old fishing town now dedicated to tourism and with a very lively port. Another attraction of Palumbuga is its proximity to the Cervical Islands, a nature reserve inhabited by many seabirds. Number 9. Colla di Volpe, Sardinia, Italy. The so-called Costa Smeralda, in the north of the Italian island of Sardinia, is home to some of the most beautiful beaches in the western Mediterranean. In the Gulf of Arzachena, Colla di Volpe gets the highest praise. It is a beach of reddish stone and blonde sand, facing the Maddalena Archipelago National Park, an ecological paradise due to the purity of its waters and its abundant aquatic fauna. Nearby is the megalithic complex of the Tomb of the Giants, which is more than 1,000 years old. Number 10. Stenovo Beach, Croatia. Hidden among calcareous rock formations that make it almost invisible from the sea, this white pebble beach is among the most attractive on the Croatian-Dalmatian coast. It is located on the island of Vis, linked by 2 hours by boat to Split, the city that grew on the palace of the Roman Emperor Diocletian. Protected natural monument since 1967, Stenovo Cove is only accessible by boat through a narrow passage, or on foot along a steep path that descends to its clear water lagoon. Number 11. Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. The northwestern corner of the island of Puerto Rico guards the attractive beach of Aguadilla, a strip of sand bordered by palm trees that turn orange when the sun begins to sink into the Caribbean. Diving, snorkeling, walking tours, windsurfing. Aguadilla and the nearby island of Culebra offer thousands of activities to make the most of your days. In the latter, it is unavoidable to bathe in the flamenco beach, in the shape of a horseshoe, as well as to visit the Culebra National Wildlife Refuge, a protected area since 1909. Number 12. The Nido Philippines. The island of Palawan, between the China Sea and the Sulu Sea, has a spectacular landscape in El Nido, a spring surrounded by a circus of cliffs upholstered in jungle right up to the shore. From the secluded beaches of this protected area in the western Philippines, you can see how the clear sky changes the color of the water throughout the day, bringing out glimpses of a seabed rich in vegetation and fauna. Such biodiversity has made this enclave an ideal destination to see coral, sea turtles, and birds of Southeast Asia. Number 13. Tulum, Mexico. The Mayan ruins of the city of Tulum and the proximity of the Caribbean Barrier Reef make many consider this beach as the most beautiful in the Yucatan Peninsula. Bathing a few meters from El Castillo and the Temple of the God of the Wind, elevated on a rocky hill, produces for a moment the sensation of living in another time. Deep in the sea lies the underwater paradise of Central America, a reef with more than 1,500 kilometers in length, in which up to 60 different types of coral have been counted. Number 14. Q Beach, Lanes, Asturias. Up to 40 beaches are distributed along the coast of the Council of Lanes, a strip declared protected landscape of the Asturian eastern coast. Some are sandy areas at the mouth of rivers, Gadamia, La Holga. Others are golden crescents like Torrimbio, or placid openings between cliffs and canyons, La Canal, San Martin. Among the most beautiful, Q Beach stands out, 380 meters long, which during low tide is usually attached to the Big Island. The small village of Q is located 2 kilometers from Lanes. Number 15. Cook and Whitsunday Islands. The coral islet of Tapuite from the island of One Foot and Maui is home to the most famous beach in the South Pacific archipelago, the largest of the 100 islands in the Whitsunday archipelago, off the east coast of Australia. It is an excellent first contact with the Great Barrier Reef. In 1770, Captain James Cook briefly landed on its sand and certified its beauty in the expedition's logbook. Unlike other islands in the Queensland region, the interior is mountainous and covered in lush vegetation. Wild dwarf palm trees grow on the beaches, and spiky fossils emerge from the sand. Number 16. True D'Argent, Rodrigues Island, Mauritius. This water emerald, set between rocks like a natural pool, is one of the jewels of Rodrigues Island, belonging to the Republic of Mauritius and, geologically, to the Mascarene Archipelago. A coral reef almost completely embraces the island and protects it from the waves of the Indian Ocean. Hence, it has such splendid beaches as True D'Argent, ideal for swimming in warm waters, with incredible visibility and seabeds covered in corals. A few kilometers to the south is Ansmore, another beautiful beach. Number 17. Coralillo Beach, Fuerteventura. Long stretches of sand color the north coast of Fuerteventura in golden tones, one of the most seductive areas with the greatest ecological value in the Canary Islands. Frequented by windsurfers, the beaches of Coralillo have their greatest treasure in the natural park of the dunes of Coralillo and in the natural reserve of Villalobos, whose seabeds are highly appreciated by divers. At the other end of Fuerteventura, the Costa Calma beach stretches for almost 2 kilometers along a strip that, at low tide, can be walked from end to end. Number 18. Calanque-Malbois, France. Agay is a coastal region of the French Provence famous for the beauty of its landscapes. Whether in the interior or on the coast, tranquility and nature have been values historically claimed and preserved by its inhabitants. On its coastline we will find, among other magical corners, the Calanque-Malbois, a paradisiacal place that is not overcrowded due to limited access of the cars. The perfect destination for those looking for the not inconsiderable mix of crystal clear waters, clean beaches, and absolute tranquility on the shores of the Mediterranean. Number 19. Cathedral Cove, New Zealand. The Coromandel Peninsula, at the northern tip of the North Island, is a must-see on any New Zealand tour. A trail from Hei Beach takes an hour to reach the White Rock Arch of Cathedral Cove. Its ogival shape is reminiscent of European Gothic cathedrals, albeit in a much warmer setting. The strip of fine sand marks the limit between the waters of the Pacific and the Pohutukawa trees, typical of the area. In the background emerges Tihoho, a pinnacle of white rock that turns pink at sunset. Number 20. Elafonisi, Crete, Greece. This beach is almost a miracle because of the colors that it mixes on its bed. The most surprising is the pink, which has its origin in the typical coral bottoms of this island. A unique, magical place that, out of season, offers the charm of its uniqueness without many disoriented tourists. Number 21. Senbos Panama. This archipelago located in the heart of the Caribbean is everything that any beach lover can dream of: white sand, a friendly coconut tree, and a tropical sea. To this is added the fact that in these islets everything is peace and tranquility, making it possible to enjoy paradise in a unique and exceptional way. Number 22. Palumbuga Beach, Oman. 40 kilometers from Salalah, in the south of Oman, stretches a 7 kilometers long sand bank with the ocean on one side and hills on the other, where several geysers up to 30 meters high dot the coastline. The landscape is, without a doubt, the main attraction of this corner of the country, since the strong waves and the wind mean that bathing is not always recommended. However, you can enjoy this Dhofar beach by taking a walk along its shore, watching the sunset or observing various species of birds. Number 23. Sancho Bay, Fernando de Noronha, Brazil. Being part of the Fernando de Noronha National Marine Park, Brazil has allowed it to slip into one of the best beaches in the world thanks to its protection and unique beauty. In fact, access to this sandy area is limited, and it has a preservation rate to prevent the overcrowding of a delicate ecosystem where endangered species live. Number 24. The Baths, Virgin Gorda. The Caribbean surprises the traveler with its turquoise water and white sand beaches, but also with unique geological formations such as those found in the Baths, 1.9 kilometers south of Spanish Town, on the southern tip of Virgin Gorda Island, between Spring Bay and Devil's Bay. As a consequence of the slow cooling of the magma, this granite formation was created and eroded into piles of rocks. Today, they form natural pools, tunnels, arches, and caves that are the stars of the image of this Caribbean beach. Number 25. Hidden Beach, Marietta's Islands, Mexico. Its volcanic origin and erosion over thousands of years are responsible for the success of this beach on the Marietta's Islands, a unique place in the world in the form of a crater that can only be accessed by water. In fact, this jewel of nature hidden among the steep rocks of these islands in the Mexican state of Nayarit only allows access to 100 people a day. The crater that opens between the rocks formed by the karstic collapse of the dome stands out. Number 26. Gardner Bay, Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. Spanish Island awaits one of the most spectacular beaches of the Galapagos archipelago. Colonies of sea lions, turtles, and various species of birds welcome visitors to this paradisiacal beach. Also the marine animals that can be seen diving around the islets that make up the bay. To preserve the entire environment, it has been suggested to restrict the number of visitors to 80 people per day, especially during the turtle nesting period. Number 27. Playa Beach, New Zealand. The Auckland region of New Zealand awaits one of the area's most popular beaches, Playa Beach, popular with city dwellers and visitors as it is just 39 kilometers away. Its dark sand stands out due to the high content of iron resulting from its volcanic origin. The sandbank is divided by Lion Rock, a 16-million-year-old eroded volcanic neck named for its shape. Number 28. Reykjavik, Iceland. The basalt columns, the black sand, and the rock formations that emerge from the water are the protagonists in this Icelandic beach. Helsinef is the name of its hexagonal columns, which reach 66 meters in height, while the islets were named Reynistrangar. They are actually 3 rocks that were part of a cliff. Another of its attractions is the Helsinef's Hellir Cave, which can be visited when the tide is low. Number 29. Aladdin is Turkey. The Lycian coast, on the Mediterranean coast, offers the opportunity to bathe in beaches that have seen a dozen civilizations pass by. The route that links the most beautiful sandbanks must stop at the long Bay of Aladinas, whose placid waters have earned it the nickname of Blue Lagoon. A part of the bay has been declared a national park and is an ideal spot for canoeing and diving in search of a sea turtle. The Roman and Lycian ruins are a perfect historical complement. Number 30. Similan Thailand. Archipelago and National Park, the 9 small islands of Similan, in the Malay language, Similan means 9, are a paradise in the middle of the Andaman Sea. Close to the popular Phuket but more virgin, they are the favorites of scuba diving lovers due to the transparency of their waters and the biodiversity that inhabits their seabed. The beach of Koh Similan, the largest island in the archipelago, is famous for the curious shapes of its submerged rocks, a deer, a leaf, a mushroom, and its coral reefs. And this has been the list with the 30 most beautiful beaches in the world. Would you like to visit them? Leave us your favorite in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment below, like and subscribe for more videos. See you soon.